As this government announced in its immigration white paper, the starting point for settlement will move from 5 years to 10.
So many families are confused because they do not know where to turn, they do not know who to speak to.
There's absolutely nothing we can do. We can't stop it. If it becomes a law, it becomes a law. You either survive or you don't.
Welcome to Life Campus, and thank you very much for joining me today. Our topic today is on immigration, which is a topic that has caused a lot of anxiety, fear, and uncertainty among UK immigrants, especially those who had arrived just before or during the COVID-19 pandemic. They arrived with the understanding that after 5 years, they will be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain in the UK so that they can settle, have their life here. However, in May last year, the UK government submitted a white paper, which if it goes through, it will change the 5-year rule to 10 years. It means a lot of changes for those who came under the 5-year rule, and people are not sure what to do. They don't have the answers. They're worried. They're concerned about the future plans. So today I'm joined by the two co-founders of an organization called Connect 360 UK. They support people, legal immigrants who are navigating the UK immigration system. So thank you for joining me today. I've got Jane and Femi. I appreciate your time. I've got Jane with me already. Femi will be joining us in a minute. Jane, over to you. Introduce yourself and tell us what you do, and then we get into the conversation. Thank you.
So my name is Jane, and I'm co-founder of Connect 360, which is we are not a charity yet because we've put in the application to register, but we are not. We are still waiting. It takes like 6 months. It takes a while. So we are still waiting.
Okay.
So currently we are a constitution. We are a community group that is led by migrants. All our trustees are all migrants, and we support migrants in the UK that have no recourse to public funds. And the reason why we sort of started it is because, the UK is full of support. There are different supports, especially for migrants. There's support for asylum seekers. There are different supports for refugees. But then those are not the only type of immigrants that we have in the UK. So in as much as all of these supports is there, you don't really see such for people on our type of visa. And as a person who has worked or who works in that industry, I find it weird where I'm sat in the office and then somebody walks up to me and says something like, let's say an asylum seeker or refugee comes to me for some sort of support, and I'm straight up, I'm able to support you. But then somebody on my type of visa or similar type of visa with no recourse to public fund comes to my office and I'm like, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. And then I don't have anywhere to signpost you to. There are scenarios where I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but if you go to so and so place, they will be able to help you. Now that's a different scenario. But it is, I'm sorry, I can't help you, and I don't know where to signpost you to. So that's harder. So I think we sort of got tired of waiting for somebody to do something. We're not immigration advisors, we're not immigration lawyers, we're not solicitors, but we've been in this country and we have been able to overcome some barriers. We've been able to overcome some challenges that as an immigrant you will face when you come to a new country. So from the experience that we've built so far, we decided to use that experience to help anybody that might be struggling. Yeah.
Okay. No, that is really, really good, and that's the whole point of this platform, really, to highlight the support that is available for people in the diaspora and people in situations like this. And you mentioned that people who are on a visa like mine. What visa is that? Is it the skilled?
People that have no recourse to public funds are basically, just to give a few examples, students, the dependents of students, people who come here on a work visa and their dependents, international partners or spouse of British citizens. That's just a few most popular examples of people who have no recourse to public funds.
Okay, so those are the people that you're working with to try and support, give
Yeah,
them,
but
as much
be,
support as you can.
because of the background that we started, because of the reason why we started Connect 360, even though we say our main focus are people that have no recourse to public funds, we don't send anybody out. Because the whole point of starting Connect 360 was because people kept shutting the door on our faces. Like, we will go to organizations and they're like, sorry, you're not eligible. Bye. So as a result of that, we do not shut the door on anybody. Literally, if a white British person walks through the door and says they need support, we will support. If an asylum seeker, a refugee walks through the door and says we need support, if it's something we can do, we will support. So we don't shut anybody out, even though our main focus is migrants that have no recourse to public funds.
Yeah. So that means basically you're open to everyone. You're ready to support everyone. So what kind of support do you offer to
So
people?
Connect 360 offers employability support, uh, things like training, skills, CV support, job search, interview preparation, things like that. We also offer mental health and well-being support. We offer financial advice, immigration advice. I don't offer immigration advice, but one of our trustees is an immigration lawyer. So she can give she's licensed, she can give immigration advice, but I cannot because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not legally allowed to give immigration advice, but she can because she's an immigration lawyer. We also give housing advice. We don't have houses or house people, but if you have issues with your landlord or issues with your housing or stuff like that, we can advocate for you. We can step in. We can support you. For finances, the way charity runs, we honestly can't give out money to people, but we can give financial advice and we can send posts. We can help. Just few things so that your head doesn't
So
go under
just
it.
things to kind of enable them to kind of
Integrate, to
integrate
stand on their own feet.
into the UK society
Exactly.
and able to work and bring money and pay
Yeah,
bills. So
just
that,
think whatever it is that an immigrant comes into the country, what do they need to stand on their feet? Like, what would they need to be able to
yeah,
navigate the system?
the
That's
basic
where we
skills.
come in.
I think we have all been there where obviously you come into a new country and you don't know exactly what you need to know for you to be able to go out and actually get a job and contribute to the economy. Simple things like how to manage your finances, when it comes to things like credit cards and things like that,
Yeah, yeah,
and loans and stuff like that. So
yeah.
it's important to have that as the basics when you get into a new country. So what you do is very important to provide that information. But I think the focus that I want to I want us to focus on today, the topic that I want us to focus on today is obviously, as you know, last year in May, I think 12th of May, the current UK government did announce about the white paper, the proposed changes to the immigration policy, and these are the proposed changes are something that will directly affect people that you work with.
Mhm.
So, have you seen so far in terms of the impact of the proposed changes to the people that you work with?
Yes, like I always say, when these changes are made, it's not just affecting numbers, it's actually affecting people's lives. It's real human lives, people with families, people with children, people that are probably already struggling. And then you just bring in another barrier, another obstacle in front of them that they have to start thinking, oh my God, like combined with everything that anybody is already going through. So yeah, we have seen when that was released, it sort of released panic into the
Mm,
community.
mm, mm,
And we did get a lot of emails, and but the thing is, there's absolutely nothing we can do, because if they we can't stop it. If they if the law, if they release the law and if it becomes a law, it becomes a
Mm.
law. You either survive or you don't. There is absolutely nothing. I mean, we can do our best. There was this petition or something going around for people to sign and all of that. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
did. We can do all of that, but it's still like, at the end of the day, it's still there. It's still their country, and what they will do is what they will do if they feel like that's the best thing for their country. We can't put it that. That's what's going to happen, and then it will then be how, okay, this is what is going on. How then do we survive? Listen, I have so many cases of people that it's just this has affected their life so much. The
Mm.
only thing we can do is sort of encourage them and just help people to just hang on and offer as much support as we can. Oh, I'm going to let Mr. Femi continue that bit, just to use that to welcome him back into the conversation.
Femi, thank you very much for joining us.
My apologies for going off. A call came from Cleveland Police, and I've been expecting that call since morning actually. So I just had to give him some few minutes. So that's just my
That's fine.
apologies. Yeah.
So I was talking to Life Campus about, the proposed white paper, the new rules and everything
Okay.
is coming up, how it's affecting the community that we serve.
It is it's just I'm trying to find the right word so I don't, because I know this is a radio, and I don't want to use a word that you'll be looking for how to filter it out. But again, I think it's unfair from the UK government to put off such a thing, because I can tell you the migrant community is not settled. As it is right now, a lot of people are actually beyond anxious because you do not even know exactly what is going to happen next. A lot of people do not know how to plan their life because of what the immigration rule might come up with next. It's as if every time something goes wrong or something is perceived to go wrong in the British environment, in the British economy, it's just the migrant. It's as if there's always a way to look for a scapegoat, somebody to blame in everything. And the easiest person to blame, rather than looking for the root cause of what the problem might have been, is the migrant, because that is what appeases the voters. And politicians use that. I know they've been using this for years and years. But I tell you, these recent law changes and proposed changes have put a lot of people into into anxiety. A lot of people do not even know what to do. So many families are confused because they do not know where to turn. They do not know who to speak to. And unfortunately, if they try to speak to certain organizations that you think that you want to get support from, they themselves do not even have understanding of what the UK rules and immigration laws are. So they can't even help. So it's so unfair. It's so terrifying for a lot of families out there. They do not know what is going on and how that goes.
Yeah, but I guess some will argue like, okay, this is a proposal. It's not a law yet. So why are people?
We all
What is
know
it
how
that
the UK
affecting
works.
people?
We all
Mm.
know.
Yeah. We know how things work in the
We know how
United
it
States.
works. This is not the first time they are proposing.
Yes. And if you look at 2020, if you look at 2025, people
Yeah.
woke up just in June 2025. I think it should be the June the 8th or something, and then saying that there is a proposed law to change and remove certain work code from the immigration list. So, and that happened just 3 weeks. just 3 weeks notice. So if
Yeah.
people are apprehensive, it's because there has been an antecedent.
Yeah.
It's because certain things have been there in the past. So even though they say, yeah, it's a proposal, it's a white paper, we know that the politicians are kowtowing the far right. And because of that, because they are trying to please some section of the British public, because of that, they are ready to do just about anything to stay in power. And unfortunately, that pawn is the migrant. So the reason why people are apprehensive, even though it's a proposal, is because they know that they they have very few politicians in the parliament who will look at the merits of things without just considering the next election. So that's why people are apprehensive, even though it's just a proposal.
So is it fair to say, obviously, politicians, they are doing their job. They want to take control of their borders. But I think what's being forgotten is how it's affecting individuals within these communities. And obviously, you guys, you work with these people who are being directly affected by these proposals. So what can be done? What obviously there's a petition that was going around, and like you say, Jane, whether it will change anything or not, that's really still is up in the air as well. But what would you propose? What would you think the government should have done, or are there any consultations that they should have done, or do you feel like the government do they understand the impact on the immigrants where they are at the moment?
I mean, I feel like Femi said, we're not saying that it's perfect. So the people that are complaining that that yes, there are issues that should be addressed, but blaming it all on immigration just isn't right. And I like Femi said, we are just the scapegoats. It feels like lamb, like what's it? Is it lamb to slaughter? Just something for the citizens to shout about and focus on rather than the actual main issue. If you do speak to some brilliant people, people who can see through the crap and bullshit of the politicians, you will actually understand that it's like somebody has red underneath and then they are trying to use a different color to cover it for you to distract you from the red. And then I can see that that color on top is just a distraction. You're not actually focusing on the red that's under. And I know you put that color on top just to distract me. The British citizens are being distracted. They're using immigration, and then racism also plays a really, really strong role. Racism is also important. So you put it there, and then the average or the British citizen is like, yes, it's their fault, because it's always easier to blame somebody. It's just the easiest thing to put all your problems on immigrants. But the truth of the matter is that if you take immigrants out of the equation, those problems are probably still going to be there. And then I'm like, so who are you going to blame next? Instead of you to hold your politicians accountable, they've promised you A when they were campaigning, and then they've just like every politician all over the world, and then they've gotten to the seats, and then they are not delivering. And rather than them deliver, they give you a scapegoat for you to shout at. They give you something to distract you. They give you something to shout about rather than actually solve the issues on ground.
Okay,
Yes.
rather than questioning you on your promises when you're
Yeah,
campaigning, and so
like for
then
instance, they
okay.
shout about immigrants have taken all our jobs. Immigrants have taken all our jobs, and I'm like, what are you?
The question would have been that why were those jobs there for the taking in the first? Why were those jobs there for the taking? If there were no jobs there for the taking, no one will else would. If there were not open spaces, the government wouldn't have told that they're opening their borders to have health and care visas open for people. If there were not
Mm.
shortages, if there were not openings, it means that it's either that the people were not doing the job or the people were not enough to do the jobs. So nobody is taking anybody's job. It's just a matter, just like Jane said, looking for a scapegoat, somebody to blame when the real issues are there. The issues surrounding the economy, the British economy is taking a nosedive, and it's open for those who actually have eyes to see. But politicians, being politicians, who only think, someone said that the politician thinks only about the next election. Great people think about the next generation. The crop of politicians that we are seeing right now, they are not thinking about the next generation. They're only thinking about the next general election. And that is an average politician. And that is what we're seeing. So they're only doing things to placate the people so that they can get votes, not so that the economy can be better. Because if you look at things, for example, in the last 4 or 5 years, the amount of income that international students and their families, when the families were still coming, brought into the UK within the first 3 years, between 2021 and 2023, was over £40 billion in income. It's there for anybody who wants to search. It's open. But between 2025 and right now, the income has not even gradually, has depleted
Drastically.
because you are trying to placate, because you're trying to win an election.
Yeah.
You are losing the economy. If anybody has gone through the proposal, it's the Home Office even put it there because they do an analysis to see what is the effect of these things, what are the effects of these changes on the economy. And it was put there at the tail end. The part of the effect is that it will drastically affect the economy of the United Kingdom. But people are not reading that. All they are reading is that we don't want people in, not knowing that it's just as if you are biting your nose to spite the face. You need these services. You are not. Nobody's offering the services. People have come to offer the services, but because of certain hatred on mindset, you want to wound your economy just because you want to make a point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like this.
So
An example is
go
this
on.
when I read an article that said, well, not an article, it was sort of like a report saying the amount of immigrants that are going to get ILR and possible British citizenship in the next few years. And then there was this outcry that that's too much. No, it's just too much a number. I'm like, right. I mean, I understand where you are coming from, but we did not just appear in this country. We applied, we paid, you approved. You approved these visas. And you know that when you approve this visa, there is an end game. Is a journey which has an end. And the end of that journey is ILR and British citizenship. And then you've approved it, you've taken that money initially, you've taken that money every single time that we renew our visa. And then we are getting to the end game and you're telling us, no, it's too much. You are too many. How? But the applications were on your table. You approved them. Why are you now complaining that the numbers are too much? Why didn't you refuse these numbers from the beginning? And then everybody knows that, right? Okay. I mean, I never got into the UK or I was never approved. And then they move on with their life. But you've approved them. You have promised them a journey of, at the end of your journey, this is what you get. You've promised them that. That is what you are proving that visa. That's what it meant. And now they're getting to the end of the journey and you are withdrawing.
Jane, let me even add something there. The funniest part of this whole thing is not even the fact that they're saying that there will be so many numbers who will get their ILR and go on to become British citizens. But the thinking that immediately you get an ILR, you begin to live on benefit. I've had some politicians to say that, oh, the number of people when they get the number of people who begin to get benefits.
How
And
much is the benefits? How much?
a
How
lot of
much
people
is
that
the
we work with,
benefit?
a lot of people, migrants that we work with, and including ourselves, we do not even want your benefit.
Like for you to be able to even claim benefits in this country, your salary has to be less than something. Like you
Yeah.
can't be earning an amount of money and claim benefits. Now you're earning say £2,000 a month, but because I want to claim benefits, I'll not be like, right, okay, I don't want £2,000 a month. I'm going to be working only 16 hours or less and be earning 1,000 so that I can get an extra 300 in benefits. How does that make sense? Who
It
will
does not
do
make
that?
sense.
How?
Okay. So that obviously is how people are feeling at the moment. But I think the politicians, the question is, do they know how people are feeling? You guys work with people directly. You see families, you
We
see
work
how
with
this is
politicians too.
affecting. Yeah. Do they have an understanding of, like, we want to talk about the individual? Obviously it's easy for the politician to say, we proposing to change this, the headlines are all over the place, uh, but no one is talking about how it's affecting the
Can
community,
I
how
say something? Let me
Mm.
say something. So one thing I have noticed is where the money goes what is what the narrative would be. Let me explain that. So, for instance, you get funding, and that particular funding you apply for is to support immigrants. That particular organization will carry immigrants on their head, like serious matter. Or let's say, for instance, you get funding that has to do with cats. Your funding is to help cats. You don't personally care about cats, but because that's where the money is, that money is to help cats, you will carry cats on your head. Now, in terms of politicians, just like Femi said, they're thinking about the next election. What is going to help them win that next election? Will throwing immigrants under the bus help them win the election? If that's going to help them win the election, they will throw immigrants under the bus. Them saying they don't know that this is affecting immigrants' life is a lie. They know, because organizations, people, posts, tweets, everything is complaining and shouting, and they are seeing it. So they do know that it is affecting immigrants' life. But them siding with immigrants, will it help them win the next election? If the answer is yes, then they will bring up a law that would favor immigrants. But if the answer is no, it's not going to favor their next election, they don't care. They don't care about your feeling. They don't care. It's just it won't favor the next election. So they will willingly throw us under the bus, irrespective of whose life it affects.
Yeah. 100% agree with you there. I don't need to add anything.
You don't-
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, cool. So let's say we are sitting with a politician now. The politician just joined us now, and we want to highlight the actual impact of these proposed changes. How are people being affected? What would you say to them? What are the specifics? If we are to mention 3-4 things that are actually affecting people that you work with, the things that you see that this is because of the proposed changes, what are the things?
Okay, I'll put it this way. Well, if I were to sit with the politicians to discuss what they said, or if it's still a proposal, if it's at this stage of proposal, it has not become a law or anything. The way it is right now, things are still the same way it has been. I allow it to say 5 years after skilled worker visa. If I'm speaking to a politician base, I'll say that first, it has heightened anxiety among the migrants, especially workers, those who are whether in the health and care visa or any other skilled worker visa. So it has heightened. That's the first thing. So people cannot do their work even effectively because their thought and mindset is all about what will they propose change, what will come out of it. So it's affecting even their productivity as they work. So productivity
Mm.
suffers. That's the second thing. The first thing is that it increases anxiety among workers. When there is anxiety in the workplace, affects it, and then it leads to the second thing, which is their productivity. Level of productivity drops when you can't concentrate, when you can't do things. And this is a catch-22 situation. It means that if one happens, affects the others, and that brings back to the first one in the first place. Anxiety increases. So that is that. Now, that is on the part of the worker. I mean, number three, the way it affects people is that people now start thinking about other ways. What is my exit option? A lot of people, I can tell you, people are already thinking about exit options. I know personally families who have moved from the UK right now, who have moved to Canada, those who have moved to New Zealand, or those who have even moved back to their home country. These are situations that are happening. So people are beginning to, so rather than invest what they earn in the country, in this country. They're already thinking exit solution, exit plan. How do I move on from here? So that hurts the British economy itself. Because if I save 20,000, 30,000 pounds, I'm thinking, how do I invest that in a place where I call home? But if I know that what might happen in the next 2, 3 years, I begin to think, should I turn that money into moving to Canada with my family or start investing in that country rather than investing here? So as much as it hurts the migrant, it also hurts the British economy. And lastly, what I would say is that overall, if these changes eventually become what they propose it to be, it's going to hurt the British economy. First, the jobs are going to be empty because I can tell you, especially for the health and care visa, nobody wants to continue under an employer. Yeah, we have people who have passion to work in the health and care sector. People who have come because they are passionate about it. But if you are passionate about something, but the work environment is not giving you because you know that you are tied to an employer you might be tied to for 10 years, for 15 years, before you can have a stay in that country, what do I do? So it means that in such places, people don't want to stay, so they have to leave. So eventually, those spaces will be obvious again. The elderly, those who are vulnerable, the children that are being taken care of, those spaces will be there, and then we'll come back to where we were pre-COVID in the United Kingdom. And that also because there will be less people paying taxes. We have older people growing in the economy who can no longer work, who want to get their pension paid. No fewer people will be paying their NI. So it means that even pension, we are talking about 67. They are even debating increasing working age from 67. It means that they might even shift it to around 75 because there will be fewer people to pay taxes. There'll be fewer people to
Yeah.
pay tax. So if I will be standing, for example, before Andy McDonald, who is my MP, these are the things I will tell him. These are the things I will list. I will list to him. So please permit me to leave now. Jane,
Thank you very
I'm
much,
sure you
Femi.
have.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Life Campus, to be here today.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You take care of yourself. I'll stay with Jane for a little bit longer.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so Femi pointed out a few things there, which is very important because I think that's really what I wanted to kind of bring out on this conversation, the human side of things. I think you said it in one of your posts that people forget that there's with all these policies, big ideas and stuff like that, there's the human side of things that we kind of forget about. And Femi started talking about the issues with being tied to an employer for 10 years. And most what I hear, correct me if I'm wrong, you might have come across it with people that you work with, that some are struggling because their workplace is not a good workplace at the moment, but they've been, just thinking, I'm going to carry on for 5 years. And then after 5 years, I get my indefinite leave to remain, so I have more options now. And some people came in with their qualifications as well. They are doctors, they are lawyers, they are engineers who are in the healthcare, but they came saying if they do the 5 years and then once they get the settlement, they can go into other industries. Not that they want to go on to benefit; they just want to go into other industries. But the goalpost is getting changed a little bit. Well, not a little bit; it's a lot, because if it goes through and it moves from 5 to 10, that's a long time, and it's giving a lot of power to the employers who sponsor those people. Because those people are always under the threat that I can cancel your sponsorship. Is this something that you deal with? Any
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
come across?
So we have some participants that we are supporting, and then I've heard an employer or like a participant complain about something in the workplace, and the employer's response is, "Well, we are sponsoring you." So it's more like, we are sponsoring you, so you shouldn't be complaining. We are sponsoring you, so you have to worship us, or something like that. I feel like if they remove that clause of "I'm tied down to you," it also messes with your mentality. It sort of sounds like slave master, slave and the slave
Mm,
master's sort of way of working. If I'm just working with you where I know that, right, I'm working for you and everything is going well. And if it's not going to go well, or if you're doing something, or if it becomes toxic, I can just move on. I can start applying for a different place to go. But then if you're sponsoring me and it becomes toxic, I can't leave. All I have to start doing, the only thing I can start doing is a countdown. Now, how is that going to? There is no way that you can't tell in a person who loves what they are doing and loves the environment where they are working. You can tell from the work. And you can tell from another person who is doing a job in a toxic place and all they are doing is a countdown. Like they cannot wait to leave. It will show in their productivity. It will show in the work that they are doing. It will show in their personal life. A lot of people are frustrated. Like they wake up in the morning and it's time to go to work and it feels like somebody has just poured acid on them. Not because they don't want to work, not because they would rather sit at home and claim benefits, but because they don't want to be at that particular place of work. They want to change jobs. They want to go somewhere else. I resumed a job for the council, and then I got there and then I realized that actually this job isn't for me. It's not my type of role. It's not as flexible as I thought it was going to be. And on the same day that I resumed, I quit. And I sat down at home, told myself, I'm just gonna sit down at home because I know that something is going to come up very soon and then I'll apply for jobs and I'll get something. And then I can be picky about salary. I can decide, no, that salary is too small. No, I can't do that because I don't need sponsorship. But for
No.
somebody who is being sponsored, if I was being sponsored, if I resume that work and I realize, oh my God, this is more than I bargained for, I'll sit down there. I will sit down there for the next 3 to 5 years and accept whatever it is they throw at me because I don't have a choice. And I'll keep telling myself 4 years left, 1 year left, 2 year left. And then after all of this, maybe I can go somewhere else. But let me tell you, that thing messes with your mental health. It messes with your productivity. It messes with your family. You will just come home and you will just be angry at everything. You will get snappy. You will be pissed off. You won't see colors anymore. It will just be black and gray, just like our weather.
Yeah. Listen, there obviously that's a big problem. That is a big problem for people on sponsorship visas, and they're really worried about the idea of moving it from 5 to 10 years.
There are some people that have been counting down to the on care work visa. I mean, when we discuss this thing, it's not only care work because I feel like every time we say sponsorship, everybody just thinks about care. But not everybody is on care. There are people that are loads of, to be fair, most people in my circle are not even doing care. Most of them are in actual proper different jobs. And then they come up with, oh, you need to be earning 41,700. How many managers are earning 41,700? Except obviously if you're living in like London or something. But if you live in our little northeast, this our little corner, how many people are earning 41,700? Now, I work in a place, not me, but I'm just giving an example. I work in a place and I've proven myself and they've said, wow, you're a very valuable member of our team. We are going to sponsor you. And then they'll sponsor me. And then down, say, for instance, you give me 3 years visa. And then down the line, we are counting down that at the end of 3 years, you're going to do another 2 years. And then UK government goes and says, right, it's going to be 41,700 now. And the person that is supposed to approve that thing isn't even earning up to that. Who is going to approve that? Like, seriously, how
It's
useful am I in that company that you need my salary to be higher than my managers for me to remain there? Am I really worth such trouble? And now, so what's going to happen? I was supposed to be doing a 3 years, 5 years countdown. I've done 3 years now. Now you have put me in. What am I going to do now? What job am I? I mean, care workers, they have it easy. It's 25,000, isn't it? Right. What about those that are supposed to be aiming for 41,700? Where are they supposed to start from? How many organizations am I going to? And you are 3 years down. Your employer now says, unfortunately, we can't meet up that 41,700. And then you get the letter from the UK government telling you have 60 days to either get another sponsorship or get out of their country. 60 days to find 41,700. Basically, you're literally telling me to just pack up my family and go back. And this is go back to a country where I have packed up initially to come and start here because you promised me A. I've come here now and you are telling me, right, A isn't going to work out.
It's a difficult place to be. Really, really is a difficult place to be. So, okay, let's talk about the support then, because obviously there's a lot of people in this situation. They've got questions. They're anxious. They're worried. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's coming. No one knows what's coming. Really, probably the politicians they do. But for us as ordinary citizens, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. This is a proposed change. You go through debates and things like that. What the final outcome, we don't know. But in the meantime, we know that people who are affected, and that's where you and Femi come in with Connect 360. So let's talk a little bit more about Connect 360. What do you do? What do you help people with in this situation? If there's someone who was listening to this and they're struggling, what can you help them with?
Well, one thing I say when people reach out to me with immigration stuff is, unfortunately, we can't help with sponsorship. I mean, we can't. I mean, the highest thing we can do is probably send you the link for organizations that are on the sponsorship list, the UK government list of people that have license and stuff like that. But we can't help you find a job that will sponsor you. We can't do that. That's I don't know. That's more of a personal. We can help you revamp your CV. We can coach you on how to pass the interview and stuff like that, but we can't actually put you in a job we can't do that. I don't know. And then another thing we can do is obviously help you with well-being so that your mental health doesn't deteriorate because of the current economy or whatever it is that news is saying, sort of keep you sane. Like we host monthly events where we just ask our people to come and we just chill. We just do activities, games, and then you feel good because you are in a room filled with people that are probably passing through the same thing as you are, but at least you have a smile on your face. He has a smile on his face. Maybe tomorrow might be better. Maybe a miracle will happen. Just so that you feel like you're not going through this journey alone.
Yeah, I guess that's what's important. Having that platform or that community of people, because most of us from the countries that we come from, we are used to having villages around us. The people around us. But when you come into in these developed world places like the UK, Canada, Australia, it's a different way of life. It's a different way of living. So you don't have that economy, that village around you. So you are providing that village for those people. So I think the fact that there's somewhere to go and there's someone to talk to, there's comfort in numbers. So the fact that there's actually there's people that you can connect with that are going through the same as you are is very important for a lot of people. So I will kind of put your details in terms of like your website and your contact details in the description box below, so that if there's anyone who's listening and you just want someone to talk to, someone to listen to you, or maybe to share your story with, then the best thing will be to contact Connect 360, and hopefully they'll be able to help you. And sometimes even if they can't help you, getting someone to listen to you and maybe signposting you to the right advice or right information or the right place for you to get the support that you need will be a good thing. It's hard being in the diaspora and not having all the information that you need in order to make informed decisions. So Connect 360 are there to help you to get that information, to get the advice, and signpost you to get the if they can't support you, signpost to get the advice that you need and the support that you need. So please do reach out. Jane, I'm mindful of the time. Is there anything else that you would like to advise people in this kind of environment where we are, whilst we're waiting for the outcome of the proposals? What would you like to advise people?
Number one, one thing I will say is protect your mental health. Don't 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 put everything on your head at once. You will implode or you will explode. It's a lot, especially if you have um family to also think about. Another thing I would say would be to plan ahead. Like plan the best case scenario and plan the worst case scenario. Just have a plan in everything that happens. Have a plan because, like I said, it is their country, and they will do exactly as they wish or exactly as they want. Have a plan. Don't just. I mean, it's always good to put in the religion. God will do it. The miracle can happen. Yes, but still have a plan. If just have a plan, um, protect your mental health and do what everything in your own sort of make yourself useful. If it's certifications you need to do, just whatever it is that you need to do to make yourself or do I want to use the word irreplaceable or hard to get rid of? Make yourself an asset. Make yourself an asset, basically. Yeah, yeah.
Yourself, yeah.
Help yourself to integrate. Like, don't just. It's good to stay within your immigrant communities, but immigrate. I mean, that's why you move to a different country, right? Like, chat with the locals, go to organizations, volunteer, put yourself out there, network, talk. Basically build yourself, make this place your home for as long as they will let it be your home.
And I guess the other way to look at it is if you are here for now and you're developing yourself, if it happens that you have to go back to your home
So you've
country,
developed yourself.
if you have developed yourself,
Yeah.
you are going with that,
Yeah.
and you are not going to start from zero.
Yeah.
You've got certificates, you've got
Yeah.
knowledge about something, so it is important to continually develop yourself. So yeah, there are some resources as well that I will put in the description box below for those people who wants to study, develop yourself, and all that. There's a lot of free courses that people can do, to help you, like with your communication skills, presentation skills, CV writing, and all that. There's some things
Wonderful.
that 360
Through Connect
as
360,
well.
because we have an immigration advisor, that's our trustee, we can give some level of immigration advice for anybody struggling, because I know how much lawyer fees are, especially if you are struggling with your finances, or if you get like that 60 days later and you are panicking and the last thing you want to do is start spending £2,000. You get what I'm saying? But we can probably offer something. We can offer some sort of advice. We can offer something through our immigration advisor to help.
Okay, there you go, guys. So how do people normally reach you if for
Our
support?
email, it's connect360uk@gmail.com. We also have a website, which is connect360uk.com.
Okay, that's perfect. I'll put everything in the description box below so that people can find that and connect with you. Listen, all I want to say is thank you very much for the work that you do. You know, just giving yourself and giving up your time to support people is not easy. And sitting there and listening to people's problems, we all have our own problems. But if you decide to say, you know what, I've got my own problem, but I want to help other people as well, and dedicate your time and effort to help people in that is amazing. So for that, I do thank you and appreciate you and Femi, and everyone that you work with. I will try whenever I come across anyone who can support the work that you do, kind of point them to your to you so that you guys can work with them. But yeah, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having us.
What I was trying to do is to just highlight this human side of things, like how are people being affected by these after the headlines, after all the comments, and how are individuals dealing with it, how are they being affected. So it's good to know that, and hopefully we'll continue these conversations until we find out what the outcome of the proposed changes are. hopefully it won't be as bad as it is now. Hopefully it will be something that we can all work with. We can only hope, but we never know. But the important thing is we can continue conversations, we can continue supporting each other. So please do reach out, guys. If you want to continue the conversation on here, there's comment section below. Just keep commenting, and we'll answer questions in there. So yeah, Jane, I'll let you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope you've taken something away from today's conversation. And if I can suggest one thing to take away, maybe not one, but if you are in this situation, remember that you're not alone. Just make sure you get the right information, the right advice from the right people. There is organizations like 360, Connect 360, reach out to them if you need support. There are also organizations like the Citizen Advice Bureau. You call them, you tell them your concerns, your worries. They will either give you the advice or they signpost you to the right advice. But the important thing is, don't go through this on your own, because there are other people who are in the exact same situation as you are in. So find the right information, find the right advice that will help you to make an informed decision. And for those who are looking to develop themselves, educate themselves, there are some free courses that you can do. You can, if you go onto the Open University website, they do some free courses. It's called, if you search on Google or whatever search engine that you want to use, Open Learn UK, you'll come up with some courses, short courses that are free that you can do. Things like CV writing, things like preparing for an interview, how to manage your money, all sorts of things that you can that will be useful for you to learn and understand in order to better yourself. So thank you very much, guys. If you think this will help someone, please share, like the video, so that we keep growing. So I appreciate your time.